Hi, welcome to Race House with me, Joe Lee.
Me, Darren Reeves.
Darren, are you there?
I'm here. I'm here, Joe. This is, we've got. I wonder if it's a Saturday afternoon where everybody's on the internet and the odd pause. But do you know what? It's this part of doing live podcasting and entertainment
No,
from.
but this is what it is that everybody is on the internet trying to get Oasis tickets.
I think
14
you might be right.
million people are on the internet, certainly in the countryside, it seems, to try and find Oasis tickets, and the whole of the internet has gone down. But that's okay. We're going to get through this podcast and yeah, and lament the fact that we don't have tickets, but knowing that if we bought 2 tickets to Oasis to stand, we'd be able to go to 2 Hungarian Grand Prix for the whole weekend. So there's a lot more value in going to F1 than perhaps Manchester or Wembley or whatever. So, but that's for debate. So comments in. So that aside, we're going to do our Monza podcast now. This is a preview, and we've just seen qualifying. The weather looked fine. The cars look seriously fast. And we've had another pole, a consecutive pole from Lando Norris, followed by Oscar Piastri. McLaren, super strong, but not much between the top 4 teams, Darren.
Well, Joe, I've been watching quite closely all the timings over FP1 through to FP3 and now quali today, and it just amazes me how they just seem to get a second a lap quicker through each session, and the progression of setting the cars up, and seeing McLaren on the front row. I don't think it's any surprise after last weekend that McLaren have just gone out there and blown everybody else away. Or have they? There is 0.1 second between the top 4. And even Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton are right there. I thought it was a great qualifying session, if I'm honest with you. There was lots and lots to watch, lots to look at. But where are Red Bull? We've got the top 3 teams in the top 6 places, and Red Bull are not there. In fact, they are half a second down the road. They are nearer Williams and Haas than McLaren and Ferrari and Mercedes right now. Verstappen, whether father or son, must be going crazy. And now they've got no drive at Mercedes next year, if they were thinking about it, because that seat has been taken up, which we'll talk about in a minute. Lando is doing a brilliant job, and Oscar is right there with him, so close. It's crazy. 100th of a second.
Yeah,
10th of a second.
A 10th of a second, and
yeah.
These teams are so fast. McLaren really look on great form. Mercedes as well, after looking so fast in practice. I really thought George Russell, I thought he could have maybe have made a pole, but he just wasn't fast enough. McLaren, just so dominant, it seems. But yeah, that's the big question. What has happened to Red Bull? Is it that they are falling behind, or they haven't had the upgrades? Is it people who've just surpassed them? It's taken half a season for these teams now to get past Red Bull. Maybe Red Bull haven't brought in many upgrades. Is it because of the turmoil in the team? I don't know. Perez was a question mark to see if he would get into Q1, and we kind of didn't have high expectations for that in the end. But he did, didn't he? I think I'm seeing on the results here. I thought he was actually going to drop out. But yeah, look, to see the Red Bulls languish in the back right next to a Williams, Albon managed to get in the top 10, which is like remarkable, and Hulkenberg as well. Right behind Red Bull. So I just don't understand what is going on over there. I thought Ferrari actually looks very good as well. Carlos Sainz is still, putting that ad out there going, yeah, I'm kind of off to Williams, but, I'm a fast driver, and you're going to see it tomorrow at Monza, which is, their home race for Ferrari. Thoughts about Carlos Sainz? Is he still advertising? He's still thinking, maybe I could pop in somewhere?
Joe, what I've noticed today as well. Carlos Sainz. I thought we were going to see a Ferrari split the McLarens today, just because it's Monza. But Carlos Sainz shares something very special with you, and it's his birthday today, and it's your birthday today as well. So, so Joe, if you could get fifth on the grid at Monza on your birthday, I think you'd be pretty happy in a Ferrari, wouldn't you?
Well, you're half right because
Oh,
it is my birthday today, and
is it
hence the
not Carlos?
balloons
Is it
behind me.
tomorrow?
It's his birthday tomorrow, and I heard that in the commentary as well. And so I looked it up, and no, it's tomorrow. So he'll be doing the race
For
on
the
his
race.
birthday. Yeah, so he would have been pole for his birthday.
Yeah.
But what makes me more sick is that he's 12 years younger, and he's a very well paid Formula One driver, regardless of where he goes. But yeah, so happy birthday to him, Virgos United. Um, yeah, I thought it just goes to show that sometimes having that home advantage doesn't seep through. If you haven't got the fast car, I mean, they've probably raced Monza and been around that track more than any other team. Because is that their main testing? Marinella's
Uh,
just down the road.
Maranello is, and there's Fiorenze or something like that as well.
Mm.
There's yeah, I'm not sure, but you know what? Ferrari was so close there today.
Hmm.
Leclerc with a 19.4, uh, and Lando with 0.3. So they were a tenth behind. They're so close; it could have easily flipped. What is a tenth of a second? When you think of it, round those corners and down those straights and add it all together, it is the blink of, it's not even a blink of an eye. It's more than that. So Ferrari are there. They do have home advantage. I think they've overachieved a little bit this weekend, because I think there is a bit of home advantage. That
Well,
and
perhaps, but maybe it's that last go. Signs know that he's moving. It's kind of familiar territory. Still, McLaren come from Woking down the road and they smashed it. So it just goes to show maybe having that. But it is a fast thing. You got long straights here. I think you do need to be experienced with this track, and as a result of inexperience, we saw a couple of crashes. Um,
yes,
Over the weekend, the first one was the safety car, which just, if you watch it on video, it just piles straight into the barriers. Was Bert driving that one? Was it down
yes,
to
he
him?
was. Yeah, Bernd Mylander was driving it, and it span out and crashed. And first words he said was, "Ah, my leg, my leg." Yeah,
Oh,
well, that
right.
might have been it as well. And you
Yeah, yeah.
paused in my feed on the F word. So, but yeah, but he was actually okay. And but the car wasn't the car. It's the worst I've ever seen a safety car, and I've no idea if a safety car has ever crashed before, Joe. This is a new thing for me. The
Mm.
safety car on the track, and it can't it can't stay on
I've
it.
not seen that before. Yeah, as if the
No.
safety car can't stay on the track, what hope do other people have,
Yeah.
including Logan Sargent? Now,
Yes.
he crashed last week, which means that he was actually replaced by Franco Colapinto. Do you know much about Franco?
Joe, Franco Colapinto, for me, I was so expecting Mick Schumacher to be in the car this weekend, and I did say
Mm.
that on our last podcast. So Colapinto, I think, is a bit of a risk. It's a bit of a gamble by James Howes. They want to get points. And at the moment, that car has not scored a point this season in the hands of Logan Sargent. Colapinto has gone out there today, and what has he qualified? He's qualified 18th, and I think he'll be disappointed with that, with Albon in the top 10. But I thought he was looking quite good, and I just think sometimes change is just to freshen things up and change the vibe is a really good thing. So I'm really interested in Colapinto, but he just lacks experience that Mick Schumacher could have brought to the table. He's not driving for a drive for next season, I don't think. I can't see him getting into whatever seats are still available, which I can't even think what seats are left now, really. Is there what? There's one maybe at Sauber, if Bottas and Joe both leave and don't partner Hulkenberg. Um, so it's a gamble, but James Vowles good luck to him really with it. And I do
Mm.
hope that Colapinto can get some points. Do you know what? I'm put a little gamble on to say Colapinto could get 10th this weekend and we see both Williams in the top 10. It would take a couple of retirements, but
Yeah,
I sometimes these things happen, don't they?
sometimes they happen. Whether he's going to have that showstopper start like Ollie Behrman had, I don't know. I think, you know, again, coming back to experience,
Mm.
he really needs to kind of bed into this track and understand what the car can do. I think it's a big ask to kind of to gel with the car that quickly, to be able to feel it and to really trust it, you know, to race around those corners at such an incredible speed. I mean, we saw it with Antonelli, you know, who had a crash in FP1. I mean,
Yeah,
they recorded his crash at 52 Gs.
that crash reminded me of Verstappen in Silverstone 21 when him and Hamilton clashed on the first
Yeah.
corner. But my son Lucas has already told me that it wasn't as fast as Verstappen. He said I could see that. He said, but it just reminded me of it. Kimi obviously wants to impress. He obviously knew that of the announcement of him getting the Mercedes drive for 2025 was coming out because he's done the photo shoots. But he didn't need to overdrive that, and I just felt that he probably a bit excitable. Of course, I would be, anybody would be, and he's only just turned 18. Antonelli, 18 years old. We've only seen a driver that young with Max Verstappen, and
Mm.
Toto Wolff seems convinced he is the next Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, two of the
Yeah.
best drivers we've ever seen in Formula One, and definitely the two best drivers of this generation.
So we kind of missed that headline to bring it to you that Antonelli has now stepped in to replace Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes next year. He'll be joining George Russell, who we can only assume will be the number one driver. You know, this kid's is 18 years old. I mean, like, is it a cost-saving exercise? But it's also Toto Wolff really believes in him, and he said, "Look, yes, he was hardly out there. We could have done with an hour of him on the track, but what we saw in a 1.5 laps was incredible. And the problem is that he's too fast. I'd rather have a driver that's too fast and we have to slow him down than someone who's too slow and we have to try and speed him up." Which is maybe a Perez situation. So yeah, there's great promise there for Antonelli, and I know you've been blowing his trumpet for a long time. And I think, you know, obviously you must be super happy you've got a rookie there in such a big
I-
team.
I'm super happy, Joe, that we've got a number of rookies now coming into Formula One, having now witnessing the first season without any rookies at all. However, we've witnessed Behrman, we've got Colapinto, we're seeing them in the FP1 like we've done before, and you know we've got loads of coming in. There's going to be a real change, and to see the old guard as well, you know, seeing Hamilton in Ferrari, there's lots and lots to look forward to for 2025, even though the regulations are staying the same. So, what I find really interesting right now is we're seeing upgrades from Williams this weekend. We've got another upgrade from McLaren.
RB.
We and it all goes towards next season. So nothing. I think we're going to see upgrades keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, and I think we're going to see Red Bull move further and further back down the grid. I really, really do, because they don't seem to be able to develop the car, whether the car is developable, or whether without Adrian Newey, they're a little bit lost. I think it's a combination, but
Mm.
but there's so much to look forward to for the rest of this season, but all of it still goes into next season.
Well, next season is going to be interesting. I mean, there are some rumours now that Zhao Guanyu is going to surrender his Audi F1 seat to Valtteri Bottas, which would mean a Bottas-Hulkenberg pairing
Hmm.
in the new Sauber then Audi team. That's not 100% confirmed. This is the silly season when everyone is kind of doing lots of contract negotiations and trying to find a home for where they're going to drive. But that is perhaps on the cards. I would say that's surprising. I know Valtteri's obviously had some, quite a lot of success in the past, but Zhao Guanyu, I mean, that just opens up a whole market for F1. You know, the Chinese market. So it'd be sad if Zhao doesn't have a drive anywhere next season. But who knows? Who knows where it can go? There's lots of drivers swirling around. But this time of the year is when we start to see things, you know, going
Yeah.
crazy. But apart from that, there's not lots of massive news at the moment. I think with this race, we're going to see a really, really good battle tomorrow. But let's talk predictions.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, look, yes, I think Lando could have it tomorrow. I think Hamilton, though, he knows this circuit very, very well. There's no reason why he can't benefit from certainly the straight line speed. The weather's going to be great tomorrow. It's going to be kind of cloudy sunshine. So we're probably looking at softs and mediums. Maybe in some hard tires, but there is an excessive heat warning as well going to be happening
Oh,
in Lombardy.
well, that's good with excessive heat because it means the tyres are going to degrade quicker. I really don't know what the strategies are for tomorrow, if I'm honest. I've not looked in too much to tyre degradation of what they've been running this weekend. Um, and I love the tyre thing. I just wish there were two tyre manufacturers to have a tyre war like Bridgestone used to have. But
Mm.
we've got the Pirellis. We've got them for next year as well. Um, but my prediction, I've said Colapinto for a point, and I think both Williams are going to finish in the points.
Okay.
Um, uh, I think we will see three different manufacturers on the top, and I think I'm going to go with a Ferrari, a Mercedes, and a McLaren, but I'm going to go for another Lando win.
Yeah, I think the same with the teams. I've got a feeling it's going to be a Lewis win. Don't ask me why. I feel it in my bones. I think the
Yeah,
McLarens are super fast, but I'm feeling Lewis. Um, yeah, I think the Mercedes have really kind of got what it takes. It depends on Lando's start. They're not great starts. I can see Mercedes maybe creeping up, pipping them near the start and then really, really pushing. There's always those first 5 laps which are
yeah.
so intense, and as a fan they're so incredible to watch. You see it when you're at the races. People were watching the first 5 laps with you're looking at the screens trying to figure out what's going on before it kind of starts to settle down, and then when it gets into kind of more pit stop management. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see. Look, with great weather and fast tires, it's going to be a really, really fast race. This is one of the fastest circuits in
Yeah,
the calendar,
yeah.
so I can't wait.
It's got few corners, lots of long straights, lots of DRS, but they've changed turn one, Joe. I don't know if you've noticed. It's
Mm.
it's an S, but they've made it even more of an S, so it bends back rather than just turning 90 degrees. I think it now turns like 100, 105 degrees on itself, bending right back. So I think we're going to see a bit of chaos in that first corner
Oh, like a
and
bit
a
of
few
chaos.
mistakes. Well, we do, and we can remember only was it 3 years ago when Max and Lewis had a little bit of a contretemps on that turn one, and Max ended up on top of Lewis. It was one of the craziest things to see, and the Max tire was sat on Lewis's head
Head,
basically.
yeah. And then we had
So
McLaren capitalised on that, didn't we? And they got a 1-2.
ISIS have got a lot to answer for today, buddy, with our broadband bandwidth.
Yeah,
So
I
lots
need to
of
mention this. Apologies, I just lost you there as well, Darren. You went a bit quiet. Yeah, if anyone's listening, Darren's changed his broadband to a nameless provider, um, and we just did a ping test before we did the podcast, and let's just say I won quite comfortably.
oh, you
Uh,
did.
yeah, good old Virgin. But no, so it's not too late, hopefully, to switch over, and I do highly recommend Virgin
Well,
fiber optic if it's available in your area.
they will be getting a phone call from me tomorrow morning before the race, Joe. That will be that's what's going to happen, and we will look at options available to us, or we might be getting some money back. I don't know, but
Yeah,
but
you
mate,
don't
we've
know.
no, we've sort of discussed everything. doing a Saturday afternoon podcast, I'm always looking at the football scores as well, Joe. And right now, my beloved Portsmouth are 3-0 down to Sunderland at home. So I'm really glad I got to do the podcast rather than go and watch there this afternoon.
Yeah, and it could have been worse. You could have spent thousands of pounds on Oasis tickets as
It's
well.
never
Which,
going to happen, mate.
well, yeah, that
Never.
was the big thing today, and
So,
everyone's still online trying to live in hope to buy tickets. But
so, buddy, when I was doing a big festival in Portugal many years, 20 odd years ago, and Oasis were on the bill, so I got to actually see them live in Portugal back then. And then about 3 years ago, I was at Petersfield Town Juniors, and Noel Gallagher was stood on the touchline watching his son play football against us. Kept himself to himself, and typical rock star. I got to watch a little football match with him, and it wasn't Man City.
well, yeah, we shouldn't say where that was, but yes,
I
similar
just
football
told you the
teams.
team it was. That's all. My son's
Yeah,
team.
the team. Yes, we won't say the school, but
No.
but yeah, we mix in circles. But yeah, look, that Oasis reunion is very exciting stuff. But you could still go to two Formula Ones for the price of two tickets. So it's up for everyone out there to decide. We're going to be back for Azerbaijan, and the reason why is we're changing this up a bit. We want to do previews before the races, so we're going to do our preview was today for Monza, and then we're going to do a quick review just before Azerbaijan, and then preview Azerbaijan. It's one of those races I've always wanted to go to because Baku looks so beautiful. And it's one of the ones in the calendar that's always had a bit of appeal. So unfortunately, I can't make it this year, but maybe next year we'll have to try and get out there and go to Baku. I think that
Well,
would be very cool.
well, Joe, I wish I could make it too, but sadly, I'm going to be singing some Billy Joel songs at the Henrician Theatre in Evesham. So I'm going to throw a little plug in there for that on Saturday the 14th. So we'll watch qualifying probably during. I'm trying to think of the time differences. What's the time? Be qualifying
Uh,
a bit earlier, won't it?
what in
UK
Evesham?
time. Well, compared to Azerbaijan, compared to Baku,
+2.
my tickets aren't quite as expensive as Oasis. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, sure. So if you'll grab yourself a bargain, and oh, actually, I should tell you the story. So today, yes, my birthday today, the balloons. But I was trying to get tickets for Oasis, and my lovely family said, "Oh well, we've got tickets for the 26th." I was like, 26, fantastic! Oh God, can't believe we're gonna go. Yep, that's it. All of us, we're all gonna go on the 26th. I was like, oh, this is amazing. We're gonna go and just absolutely jump it up. And what is it? Oh, it's seats. Okay, well, seats. Okay, we're not standing, but that's fine. And God, I can't believe we're all gonna see Oasis. She goes, no, not Oasis. We've got tickets for Paul Carrick,
Oh,
who will be playing in Woking on the 26th of September. And because I love old fogey music. And I've seen Paul Carrick before. He's very good. He used to play with his band Ace and then Michael and the Mechanics before going solo. We're going to go and watch Paul Carrick. But it was a great little prank.
you'll
they
still
played
love
on
it.
me.
You'll still love it, though, mate. I think you'll
How
prefer it.
long has this been going on? Yeah, two
You're
different
talking
keys.
about singing about a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, we're going to get off, and thank you so much for watching. Darren's going to get his internet fixed by next time. He's going to join 2024 wholeheartedly, but um,
Unbelievable.
no, we jest. But we will see you next time. Please comment, enjoy the race tomorrow, get your predictions in. We will see you for the preview for Azerbaijan, which is going to be happening in a couple of weeks' time. But until then, it's goodbye from me, Jolie.
And it's goodbye from me, Darren Reeves. Take care.
Take care.